Lisa Hayes was small. This was the first thing anyone noticed about her when she arrived at Meridian Academy. She stood barely 5 feet tall, with dark hair tied in a simple ponytail and eyes that looked down more often than up. Next to the other students, she looked like a child among adults. A student named stood nearly 8 feet high, with a body made of sharp crystalline structures that caught the light. A telepathic being called Vex floated above the ground, her form shifting colors like oil on water. And warrior named had muscles that rippled with pure strength. And then there was Lisa, small, fragile human. The Meridian Academy orbited a neutral space station between 3 different galactic territories. It was meant to teach the most promising young minds in the galaxy. Students from hundreds of worlds came here to learn advanced science, diplomacy, and technology. Lisa was the only human student that year, perhaps in the last 10 years. Her first day was a disaster in the way that only first days can be. She walked into the common area where students gathered between classes. The room fell silent. Lisa felt every eye turned toward her. She tried to find a place to sit, but each table she approached filled with the sound of chairs being pulled back. Empty seats disappeared. Students moved away like she was something to avoid. By the time she found a corner, she was alone. During her first class in galactic history, a named sat directly behind her. He spent the entire hour kicking the back of her chair, not hard enough to hurt, just hard enough to irritate, just hard enough to make sure she knew he was there, doing it on purpose. Lisa kept her hands on her desk and stared forward. At lunch, Vex found her. The telepathic being circled Lisa like a predator circling prey. Lisa could feel the alien's presence in her mind, not reading thoughts exactly, but creating feelings. Embarrassment, shame, fear. Vex laughed, a sound like wind chimes made of ice. "Why did they send a small thing like you here?" Vex asked. "You cannot even reach the high shelves in the library. Do you need us to bring you books like a helpless child?" Other students heard and joined in the laughter. Lisa grabbed her food and left. The bullying did not come like a storm. It came like rain, steady and constant, every single day. In the halls between classes, students would bump into her, making her stumble. During physical training, the instructor paired her with larger students who threw her around like a toy. In group projects, Lisa's ideas were ignored or mocked. Her name became the subject of jokes. Lisa the liar, too weak to tell the truth. Lisa the lost, never found her way in the galaxy. Lisa the lesson, the only thing she teaches us is how pathetic humans are. There was a student named and with scaled green skin and a body built for violence. During combat training, he took every chance to throw her down hard. The academy had safety protocols, but was clever. He never broke a rule. He just made sure Lisa hit the ground hard enough to knock the air from her lungs. A tall being named would stand in doorways to block her path. When Lisa tried to squeeze past, would laugh. "Does the tiny human need help? Should I carry you? Should I put you in my pocket so you do not get stepped on?" Lisa never reported any of it. She never complained to teachers. She never fought back. She simply moved through her days with her head down, absorbing the endless stream of insults and physical humiliation like a stone absorbs rain. This made her an even better target. Everyone knew she would not cause problems. 3 weeks into the semester, Lisa sat alone in the library's back section, surrounded by books about Earth and history. A group of students found her there, was leading them. He walked over slowly, letting his crystalline feet click against the floor. The sound was deliberate, a warning. "Look," said his voice hard like breaking glass. "The human is hiding in the dark again. Does the light hurt your weak eyes? Do you need to be in a dark place like Earth, where the sun barely reaches the ground?" Lisa did not look up from her book. Her hands remained steady. "I asked you a question," said. He reached down and pushed the book away. "We are speaking to you." Lisa closed her eyes for just one moment. When she opened them again, she looked at, not with anger, not with fear, just with a calm that seemed to confuse him. "I was reading," she said quietly. "I have an exam tomorrow." "An exam you will fail," Vex said, floating closer. "Humans have small brains. You cannot possibly understand our advanced science." "Probably," Lisa said. She picked her book back up. "But I will try." This response seemed to anger them more than any other response could have. Lisa was not supposed to be calm. She was supposed to fight or cry or run. Instead, she just sat there, quiet and still, reading about distant worlds. Grabbed her chair and pulled her backward. The chair scraped across the floor with a sound that made people look up. Lisa fell sideways, her body hitting the shelf. Books tumbled down around her. A few students watching turned away quickly. The teacher working at the front desk did not look up. Nobody helped her. Lisa got up slowly. She picked up her book. She left the library. That night in her small room in the student housing, Lisa looked at her reflection in the mirror. Her shoulder was bruised. There was a small cut on her cheek from the shelf. She looked fragile, weak, breakable. This was what everyone saw when they looked at her. This was what they believed about humans, small, fragile creatures from a small, fragile world. She opened her personal messages and found an old recording from her mother. The video played, showing a woman with the same dark hair as Lisa, wearing a military uniform. "I know this is hard," her mother said on the screen, "but you need to understand something. Humans are from Earth. Our world is harder than almost any other world in the known galaxy. We have weather that kills, earthquakes that destroy, predators that hunt us, disease that spreads, and cold that freezes. We are survivors by nature. We are tested every day just to exist. The people around you come from worlds of comfort and safety. They do not understand what it means to truly struggle. Be patient, be strong, and remember who you really are." The recording ended. Lisa sat on her bed in the darkness of her room. Tomorrow, the wilderness survival exercise was supposed to be simple. The academy took all first-year students to the rocky moon called Seven, a place considered safe enough for teaching but harsh enough to test basic survival knowledge. The students would be divided into groups, given minimal supplies, and forced to work together to survive for 5 days. Lisa was placed in a group with her bullies. Vex and were all assigned to her team. It seemed deliberate, a final test of whether she would crack under the pressure. The transport shuttle landed on the moon's surface, and the students were given their supplies: a communication device, basic tools, water purification tablets, and emergency rations. The academy instructors gave a quick briefing about the moon's conditions. Temperature swings from 40 degrees during day to minus 80 degrees at night. A thin atmosphere, no dangerous predators, simple, easy. By evening, everything was wrong. The communication device stopped working, had stepped on it when they were setting up the camp. He said it was an accident. The emergency rations were spoiled. Vex had not sealed them properly in the container. She said she did not understand the mechanism. One of their tents collapsed when failed to anchor it correctly. He blamed the ground. As night fell, the temperature dropped faster than predicted. The students huddled together in the remaining tent, shivering. The thin atmosphere did not hold heat. The moon seemed to drain warmth from their bodies as if the ground itself was alive and hungry. "We should be fine," one of the alien students said, her voice shaking. "The academy said there are no predators. We just need to wait for rescue. They will come in the morning." But the morning never came. Hours stretched into nothing. The cold became sharper, more real. One student started making strange sounds. Her body was cooling too quickly. The alien physiology that worked so well on comfortable worlds was not designed for this kind of cold. They needed heat. They needed shelter. They needed help. Lisa watched everything. She said nothing. She simply observed. While the others panicked and huddled closer, Lisa stood and walked to the edge of their camp. "Where are you going?" demanded. "We need everyone here. We need to share body warmth." Lisa did not answer. She moved across the rocky ground with purpose, her eyes scanning the landscape. The gravity was lighter than Earth's, and she moved with confidence despite the harsh conditions. She gathered rocks and arranged them in a circle. Then she found dry plant matter that grew in the thin soil, dead, brittle, but useful. "What is she doing?" Vex asked, fear replacing her normal arrogance. Lisa did not respond. She created friction using 2 pieces of dry wood she had found. Her hands moved with muscle memory, a technique she had learned years ago. For 10 minutes she worked steadily. Then a spark appeared, then a small flame. She had made fire. The group stared at her like she had performed magic. Fire was not supposed to be possible in the thin atmosphere. The academic experts who had written their survival manual said so, yet Lisa had done it anyway. "Come," she said simply, "heat will keep you alive." One by one, the students moved toward the fire. It was small, but it was warm. Lisa kept it fed with whatever dry material she could find. Wanted to move branches closer, but Lisa stopped him. "No," she said. "Fire needs air to breathe. Give it space. Too much and you kill it. Too little and you kill it. Balance." Looked surprised that Lisa had given him direct instruction, but he listened. The second night was worse. One of the students was injured. Had fallen on the rocky ground and cut open her leg, not deeply but enough to bleed. In the cold, the wound began to freeze. The alien students did not know what to do. Their advanced medicine was technology they did not carry. Without machines, they were helpless. Lisa examined the wound without asking permission. She tore a piece of cloth from her own clothing and wrapped it tight to stop the bleeding. She positioned the injured student close to the fire, but not too close. Then she stayed awake the entire night, watching to make sure the injury did not get worse. "Why are you helping her?" Vex asked. "She had bullied this injured girl, they all had. She was cruel to you." "She is hurt," Lisa said. "That is what matters." By the third day, the students had accepted that Lisa was in control, no longer kicked at her, no longer threw her around. They watched her and did what she told them to do. She organized a search for food. The moon had small, burrowing animals that hid in the rocks. Lisa caught one using a simple trap made from vines and wood. She showed the others how to prepare it for cooking. "This is like barbarian knowledge," one student said, watching Lisa skin the animal. "Primitive." "Yes," Lisa said without defensiveness. "But you are alive because of primitive knowledge. Technology is only useful when you have technology. When you do not have it, you have only what you know, and survival." On the fourth day, the predators came. The academy instructors had said there were no predators on 7. They were wrong, or they had lied. Either way, when the creature emerged from the rocks at dusk, all of the students realized they were in true danger. It was large, with scaled skin and teeth that looked like broken stone. Its eyes were hungry. It moved toward their camp with the slowness of something that knew prey could not escape. The alien students froze. They looked at each other, waiting for someone to say this was a test, that the academy had planned this, that robots would emerge to stop the creature. Nothing happened. The creature got closer. Lisa stood up. She did not run, she did not hide. "Gather the supplies," she said. "Move to higher ground, the rock's there, go now." "What are you doing?" asked. "What needs to be done," Lisa said. She picked up a burning branch from the fire. She held it in front of her like a weapon. When the creature charged, she did not flinch. She ran toward it instead of away, screaming a sound she had learned in combat training. The sheer noise and the fire confused the predator. It slowed for just a moment. Lisa used that moment. She dove between its legs and rolled across the ground. She came up with rocks in her hands. She threw them at the creature's face, at its eyes, at the soft places she could see. The creature was larger and stronger, but Lisa was faster and smarter. She knew how things fought. She knew where their weak points were. She knew how to survive. The battle lasted only minutes, but it felt like hours. When it was over, the creature retreated, bleeding and angry, back to the rocks where it had come from. Lisa stood breathing hard, her body shaking not from fear but from exhaustion. She turned back to her group. They were staring at her like she was someone they had never seen before. "Come back to camp," Lisa said. "We need to eat and rest. Rescue will come tomorrow." The medical bay released Lisa after 4 hours of observation. The doctors found nothing wrong with her. No injuries that needed treatment. No signs of trauma or shock. She was simply tired. The Academy's chief medical officer, a tall alien with 6 arms and purple skin, seemed confused. "Your body shows no signs of damage," the doctor told Lisa. "But you were fighting a predator, a creature that outweighs you by hundreds of pounds. How is this possible?" "I was trained," Lisa said simply. "Trained by whom?" Lisa did not answer. She was not supposed to talk about why she had been sent to this school. Her mother and the human government had made that clear. She was supposed to be a normal student, trying to fit in, learning about alien cultures. The training was supposed to stay hidden. But it was hidden no longer. By the next morning, rumors filled the school. Human girl fights dangerous predator. Human girl survives extreme cold. Human girl knows how to make fire in impossible conditions. Human girl is not what she seems. Found her in the library, but this time he was not alone and he did not approach with anger. He simply sat down across from her. "I want to know," said his crystalline voice softer than before. "What are you?" Lisa closed her book slowly. She looked at directly. She no longer needed to look down. "I am human," she said, "from Earth." "That is not an answer," said. "Humans are weak. We have studied humans in our records. You are weaker than almost every species in the galaxy. Your bodies break easily. Your minds are small. Your world is young. So what are you, Lisa? Why are you so different?" Lisa thought about how to answer. She could lie. She could say she was naturally strong, that her family trained her. She could claim special genetics. Instead, she decided to tell him the truth. Earth is the most dangerous world in the galaxy, Lisa said. Not because it has the most powerful creatures, not because it has the most advanced technology, but because it has everything trying to kill you at once. Whether that destroys earthquakes, floods, storms, diseases, predators, cold, heat. Every single day, humans survive things that would kill other species. We are not strong because we are born strong. We are strong because we have to be. Our world made us this way. Was quiet for a long time. When he spoke, his voice was different. There was no mockery in it. I want you to teach me, he said. I want to understand how to be strong like that. Over the next week, Lisa found herself becoming a teacher instead of a student, asked her to show him combat techniques. She showed him, asked her to teach him how to control his strength. She showed him how to focus power instead of just using it, asked about survival. She gave him lessons in basic wilderness knowledge. But Vex was different. The telepathic being came to Lisa's room one night, her colors shifting rapidly between red and purple, signs of agitation. I am sorry, Vex said, for the things I made you feel, for the pain I put in your mind. Lisa was surprised. Vex had been one of the bullies. She had used her telepathic powers to create feelings of shame and embarrassment in Lisa's mind every single day. Why? Lisa asked simply. Because you are real, Vex said. Everyone here is pretending. We are all pretending to be strong and advanced and superior. But you are real strength. And instead of recognizing it, we tried to break you. I tried to break you, and you did not break. No, Lisa said, I did not break. Over the following weeks, Lisa's life at the academy changed completely. She was no longer invisible. She was famous. Every student wanted to know about Earth. Every student wanted to hear stories about human survival. Every student wanted to learn from her. The teachers began to change how they treated her too. Her survival instructor asked her to help teach the physical training classes. Her science teacher asked her to give presentations about Earth's biology. She was no longer a weak human student pretending to belong. She was a human student who had proven herself stronger than the aliens around her. But not everyone was happy about this change. A group of older students, including ones who had not been on the moon with Lisa, started to cause problems. They said that humans had no place at an academy that taught the galaxy's elite. They said Lisa had gotten lucky in the emergency. They said she had probably poisoned the other students' water to make them weak so she could appear strong. The rumors were ridiculous, but they spread anyway. Some students began to avoid Lisa again, but for different reasons, fear instead of contempt. One afternoon, Lisa was walking through a corridor when a large alien named stepped in front of her. He was a student from an aggressive warrior species called the... He was twice Lisa's size and 3 times her weight. I have heard the stories about you, said. About the human girl and her amazing survival skills. I want to see if these stories are true. Before Lisa could respond, threw a punch at her head. Lisa did not think about it. Training was automatic. She slipped to the side, letting the punch pass harmlessly. She used its own momentum against him, pulling his arm and spinning him into the wall. It was not a brutal attack, but it was effective. Hit the wall hard enough to knock the air from his lungs. When he stood up, blood dripping from his nose, looked at Lisa with something that might have been respect. You really are what they say, he said. You are dangerous. No, Lisa said. I am not dangerous, I am just trained. There is a difference. Dangerous is wanting to hurt others. Trained is knowing how to protect yourself and others when it is necessary. I never wanted this. I never wanted to fight anyone, but I will not be hurt without reason. I will not be broken without reason, and I will not let others be broken if I can stop it. Left her alone after that. The story of the fight spread through the school, but it had a different effect than it intended. Instead of making Lisa seem like a threat, it made her seem like someone who could be trusted. Someone who was strong but not cruel. Someone who would protect people, not hurt them for fun. By the end of the month, Lisa had transformed from a bullied victim into the most respected student until the formal hearing took place in the academy's conference room. Lisa sat alone on one side of a long table, facing a panel of 6 judges. They represented different species and different government interests. Behind her, the room was filled with other students and several teachers. Her bullies sat on the opposite side of the table, looking uncomfortable. The academy's director, a stern being named, began the proceedings. We are here because of serious allegations, said. Multiple students claim that Lisa Hayes used excessive force during the wilderness survival exercise. They claim she attacked other students and endangered their lives. We need to understand what happened. A lawyer assigned to represent the other students stood up. The facts are simple, the lawyer said. A predator attacked the group. Lisa Hayes used this as an opportunity to display her combat skills. She was reckless. She put herself between the creature and the group, but her methods were unprofessional. She could have gotten herself killed, which would have endangered the group further. Lisa listened without expression. The lawyer was technically correct. She had put herself in danger. Her methods were based on training, not on the Academy's official protocols. Looked at Lisa. How do you answer these charges? Lisa stood. She spoke clearly and calmly. I used the best methods I had available, Lisa said. The communication device was damaged. The medical supplies were lost. The creature was attacking. I acted based on my training and my experience. I did not follow official Academy protocols because official Academy protocols assumed we would have technology and resources. We did not have them. But you endangered yourself, the lawyer said. That was reckless. Yes, Lisa said. I endangered myself, but my group survived, all of them. If I had not fought the creature, at least one of them would have been killed, probably more. I made a choice between risk to myself and death to others. I chose the risk to myself. Stood up suddenly. The judges tried to tell him to sit down, but he ignored them. She is right, said his crystalline voice loud and clear. The creature would have killed us. Lisa saved us. She was not reckless. She was brave, and I was cruel to her before we went to that moon. I bullied her. We all did. If anyone should be facing charges, it should be us. One by one, the other students who had been on the moon stood up and said the same thing. Even Vex, the telepathic being who had used her powers to hurt Lisa psychologically. I made her suffer, Vex said, her colors shifting to shades of shame. And she saved my life anyway. That is not the action of someone reckless. That is the action of someone who is genuinely good. The judges exchanged looks. The lawyer looked frustrated. Then a human official, a woman Lisa's mother knew, stood up from the back of the room. Lisa had not known she would be here. I am here to represent the human government, the official said, and to explain something about Lisa that the Academy may not understand. Lisa Hayes was specifically selected to attend this academy. She was not randomly chosen. She was trained by the human military for years before coming here. We sent her here with full knowledge that she would be underestimated. That was the point. The judges leaned forward with interest. The human official continued. Earth sends a representative to this academy every few years as a gesture of goodwill. We want the galactic community to understand what humans are. We want you to see that we are not what your databases suggest. We are not weak. We are survivors. We are resilient. And we are trustworthy. Lisa was sent here to be a bridge between worlds. That means she was supposed to show you all of these things, but in her own time, on her own terms. You knew she was being bullied, one of the judges asked. We suspected, the official said. It happens every time we send a student here. They are underestimated, they are pushed. And they survive it because humans are meant to be pushed. But Lisa did more than survive. She protected others. That was not part of her training. That was just who she is. The hearing continued for another hour. More students came forward to describe how Lisa had helped them. The injured student talked about how Lisa had saved her leg from infection. Talked about how Lisa had not hurt him out of anger, but had simply shown him that size did not matter as much as skill and determination. By the end, it was clear that the case was not about whether Lisa had used excessive force. It was about the fact that the Academy's entire understanding of human potential was wrong. The judges discussed for 30 minutes, then made the decision. Lisa Hayes is found not guilty of all charges, announced. We also find that the bullying she experienced before the survival exercise was systematic and harmful. The students responsible will participate in mandatory rehabilitation and community service. They will write formal apologies and will complete courses on respect and diversity. And the other bullies all nodded. They accepted the judgment. Then said something unexpected. We also want to offer Lisa Hayes a position on the Academy staff. We would like her to be a survival instructor, teaching other students about Earth methods and extreme environment survival. This position comes with full Academy resources and an important place in our institution. Will you accept? Lisa looked at the judges. She looked at the room full of students and teachers. She looked at her former bullies who were watching her carefully. Yes, Lisa said, I will accept. After the hearing, approached her in the hallway. He still carried some of his earlier arrogance, but there was something different in his stance now. Respect. "I am sorry," said. "For everything. I know that words are not enough, but I wanted you to know that I am sorry." Lisa nodded. "I forgive you, but you should work hard to become someone who does not need forgiveness for doing those things. Learn, grow, understand that strength is not about size or power. It is about what you do with what you have." "I will," said. "Will you teach me in your survival classes?" "Yes," Lisa said. "I will teach you, I will teach everyone." That night, Lisa sent a message to her mother. She included video of the hearing and her acceptance of the position at the academy. Her mother's response came within hours. The video message showed pride on her face. "You did exactly what we hoped," her mother said on the recording. "You showed them who humans are, not through fighting but through protecting, not through arrogance but through quiet strength. I am proud of you, Lisa. Come home when you can, but know that you are exactly where you need to be." Lisa's first class as a survival instructor was held in the academy's physical training area. 20 students showed up, mostly the ones who had bullied her or who had heard about what happened on 7, sat in the front row. Vex floated nearby, and were there too. But there were also students who had never spoken to Lisa before, curious to learn from the human girl who had become famous. "Welcome to Earth survival training," Lisa said simply. She did not smile. She did not try to be friendly or funny. She was professional and direct. "This class will teach you methods of survival that humans use on Earth. Many of these methods seem simple compared to the technology you are used to. But they work. They work because they come from a world where simple things must work. You cannot rely on machines or advanced equipment every moment of your life on Earth. So you must learn to survive without them." She divided the class into small groups. Each group got basic materials: rope, cloth, sticks, and water. She told them to build a shelter that would keep them warm in cold conditions. Started to design something complex using advanced geometry. Lisa stopped him. "No," she said. "Use what you have, nothing more, nothing less." Looked frustrated. His crystalline brain understood mathematics and advanced design, but it did not understand the simplicity of practical survival. Lisa showed him how to create a shelter using only the materials they had. The design was basic: a roof made of cloth, walls made of sticks lashed together with rope, but it would work. The other groups struggled too. They were used to thinking in complicated ways. Lisa taught them that survival required the opposite. It required thinking in simple ways. "Every action should have a purpose," she told them. "Every material should be used. Nothing is wasted on a world like Earth, because waste means death." Over the following weeks, the classes became the most popular in the academy. Students signed up for Lisa's sessions even when they were not required. She taught them how to make fire in wet conditions. She taught them how to identify which plants were safe to eat. She taught them how to read weather patterns. She taught them how to move quietly and how to observe things without being noticed. She also taught them something more important. She taught them how to think like survivors. "Survival is not about power," she told them in one class. "It is about adaptation. It is about looking at what you have and what you need and finding a way to bridge the gap. On Earth, we are not the strongest creatures, we are not the fastest, we are not the largest, but we are here, we survived. And we are still surviving because we learn, we adapt, we think. That is what survival really is." Raised his hand during one class. "But you are strong, we have seen you fight. Are you saying strength does not matter?" "Strength matters," Lisa said, "but not the kind you think. Physical strength is useful, but it is the weakest kind of strength. True strength is mental. It is the ability to see a problem and find a solution. It is the ability to stay calm when danger comes. It is the ability to protect those who cannot protect themselves. That is real strength." Seemed to understand. He had been a bully partly because he thought physical strength made him superior. Now he was starting to see that he had been measuring strength by the wrong measure. 3 months into her position as an instructor, the Academy received an important visitor. A representative from the Galactic Council, the organization that governed relations between different species, came to the school. Her name was, and she was a being of immense authority and respect. Asked to observe Lisa's survival class, she sat at the back of the room, watching without saying anything. Lisa taught the class as she always did, no special performance, no attempt to impress the important visitor, just honest teaching about how to survive. After the class ended, approached Lisa. "I have studied your records," said. The emergency on 7, the hearing, your training background. I came here expecting to find a soldier or a fighter. Instead, I found a teacher. This is interesting to me. I do not see those things as different, Lisa said. A good soldier protects people. A good teacher helps people protect themselves. Both are the same action, just in different ways. Was quiet for a moment. Then she smiled, a strange expression on her alien face. The Galactic Council has asked me to extend an invitation, said. We would like the human government to send more representatives to this academy, and we would like you to help develop a curriculum about human culture and survival that can be taught across the galaxy. We want other species to understand what your people are, what they are truly capable of. Lisa felt something warm in her chest. This was why she had been sent to the school. This was the goal, not to prove herself in combat, but to bridge the gap between worlds. I would be honored, Lisa said. The news spread through the academy quickly. Lisa was no longer just a student or an instructor. She was now an official diplomat, representing human interests to the galaxy. But she did not let the title change how she taught or how she lived. Every day, she came to class and taught survival. Every day, she showed students that strength came from preparation, not arrogance. Every day, she demonstrated that humans were more than just what their appearance suggested. One day, Vex came to Lisa after class. I have a question, Vex said. Before, when I was cruel to you, I could feel your emotions through telepathy. You always seemed calm. How did you do that? How did you control your emotions so completely? Lisa thought about this. It was a fair question. I did not control my emotions, Lisa said. I felt them, fear, anger, sadness, frustration. I felt all of them, but I did not let them control me. On Earth, when something tries to kill you, your fear response is automatic. But if you let that fear control your actions, you die. So you learn to feel the fear and act anyway. You learn to feel the anger and choose not to be cruel. You learn to feel sadness and still move forward. That is what survival teaches you. Vex's colors shifted to something that looked like understanding. So you are not emotionless, Vex said. You are strong because you feel everything and choose what to do anyway. Yes, Lisa said, exactly that. As the year went on, the Bullies became Lisa's most dedicated students, learned combat technique and began training other students in the same way Lisa had trained him, discovered that his physical strength was most useful when it was used to protect others, learned that intimidation was weakness and that true strength meant making others feel safe instead of afraid. The academy changed. It became a place where human students were no longer automatically underestimated. It became a place where different species learned from each other, not looked down on each other. And it became a place where a small human girl had transformed the entire institution by simply being herself. Late one night, Lisa sat in her room and recorded a message to send back to Earth. She spoke to her mother, to the human government, to everyone who had sent her on this journey. I did what you asked, Lisa said on the recording. I showed them what humans are. I showed them that we are not weak, not because we are physically stronger than everyone else, but because we can survive anything, because we learn, because we adapt, because we protect those we care about, because when the world tries to kill us, we do not give up. We find a way. We survive. She paused, thinking about how much she had changed since arriving at the academy. Thank you for training me. Thank you for sending me here. Thank you for believing that I could do this. I am going to keep teaching. I am going to keep showing the galaxy who we are, and when I am done, I will come home, but home will be different, and so will the galaxy. She sent the message. Then she looked out the window at the stars. Somewhere out there, other humans were looking at these same stars. Some of them would come to this academy too. Some of them would face bullying and doubt and fear. But they would know now that they could survive it. They would know that they were stronger than they looked. They would know that they carried within them the strength of a world that tested them every single day. The academy's director called Lisa to his office the next morning. Your work here has been remarkable, said. The other students have changed. The atmosphere of the school has changed. You have changed everything. I wanted you to know that you are welcome here as long as you wish to stay. Thank you, Lisa said, but I will not stay forever. Someday I will go back to Earth, and someday other humans will come here. I want to make sure they are ready. I want to make sure that no other human student faces what I faced. That is my real mission. Nodded, that is what a true teacher does. They work toward a future where they are no longer needed because the world has learned. You are doing that work, Lisa Hayes. Lisa left his office and went to teach her class. 25 students were waiting for her now. Next week, there would be 30. The week after, 35. Word was spreading. Human students were coming, human methods were being requested, and Lisa would be ready to teach them all. She looked at her students, at the faces of every species in the galaxy, all eager to learn survival from a small human girl. She smiled and began to teach. Lisa watched the message twice. Then she began preparing for her first day as a survival instructor. She had classes to teach and a galaxy to help understand the truth about humanity. He schooled, but she had not changed. She had simply shown who she really was. And everyone had finally started to see her. Rescue did come the next morning. The emergency beacon had finally started working, and the academy sent a transport shuttle. The students were carried back to the station, all alive. All alive because a small human girl had known how to survive in places where her bullies could not. Would continue. Tomorrow they would push her and mock her and make her feel small. She would let them, because Lisa had been sent to this school for a reason. She was a bridge between worlds, and a bridge had to stand in place even when people walked on it and hurt it, even when they tried to break it. Tomorrow would be like every other day. Lisa would wear her weakness like a mask, and no one would ever know what was underneath.